Mm.
Yes, people, here we are back in the net podcast. This is like an international break special. Got my resident United fan on here, Nick. Nick, what are you saying? Listen, dramas, Man United takeover talk. That's what it's going to be about today. No scores, no nothing else. All Man United. Thoughts, man. Actually, say hello to people again before we get into
What's
it.
going on? Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's been a busy week or two. It's been ups and downs with who's potentially going to take over. But yeah, a lot to go through from what knowledge I do have about the situation. Like, this is going on to since 2005. So you've got nearly 20 years worth of history with the Glazers and the takeover, and now this potential new owner as well. But I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. International break, a bit, you know what it is like.
I
We would
enjoy the
have
international breaks these days. When United are doing
some
so shit and I'm doing rubbish on FPL, mate, I welcome these breaks. I want it to be another week off, mate. But
some teams enjoy that. But listen, we're
mm,
here. Obviously, the main news at the moment is, as you just spoke about, the Glazers, Man United. Just want to talk about what I know so far. You can expand on it. So, Sheikh Jassim and Ratcliffe were the two front runners to be done with Manchester United. Jassim offered X amount. I can't remember the exact amount. You can tell the people afterwards. Everyone thought that was likely to be accepted. The Glazers got a bit greedy, didn't want it, and I think Jassim offered to revamp the first team, the training ground, the stadium, blah blah blah, all of that.
mhm.
Ratcliffe, I don't know what he's offered to do. I think with him, he was willing to be a minority shareholder, which meant
Yeah,
them scoundrels or whatever you want to call them stay in charge of the club.
sticking
So
around for now anyway.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean. So yeah, listen, expand on that. Like, let the people know, man.
I see. Yeah, in a nutshell, you kind of got it right. I mean, obviously we've had rumours of takeover from both of them for months now, months and
Mm,
months.
mm,
I mean, the official offer, which it's not 100% gone through, but I think it's pretty much 99% going by, Fabrizio Romano on Twitter and other credible kind of the athletic sources as well. So Ratcliffe is going to be a minority um, owner,
mm,
25% of United for 1.3-ish billion pounds.
mm,
I think it's around about 1.7 or 8 billion dollars. So yeah, seems to have won the race. I think it has pretty much won the race
mm,
because
mm.
Sheikh Jassim has pulled out now. I'll go into more detail about that deal as well, which is what I preferred. But yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. I just feel a bit underwhelmed. Like it's like anything that means that the Glazers don't have full control or say over everything, including the sporting side of it. Because obviously, in terms of the business side, they've the money has been brought in terms of revenue, not that it's been spent well.
Mm.
And but in terms of the sporting decisions, it's been poor. It's been terrible since the start. And so Jim, from what Ineos is saying, which is the Ineos is like the whole company, I think, of Sir
Mm,
Jim's, and it's worth about 18 billion. So it's not like people were saying like we've gone from one extreme to another in terms of money, which is
mm.
true
Yeah.
because Jim has probably unlimited funds, but 18 billion is still a huge amount of money for a football club,
Mm,
which doesn't rely on outside sources to give us money to spend
mm,
because we bring in so much money because we're such a big club. It's more just like clearing the debt
mm,
and then let United just run by itself. So I don't know. It's. I wanted Jim in. Obviously, his offer was straight to Jim was $5 billion, I believe. It could
mm,
be pounds. I know there's a big difference, but it's 5 billion.
mm,
And then they promised another billion, as you said, for the training facilities to be improved, the stadium, which I can go into detail, but I'll just say in a nutshell, it's just
mm.
not good enough. The stadium is leaking. When I went to Old Trafford last year, I went to the toilet and I just looked up and I just see just like not just a little leakage. It was like a hose pipe worth of water coming down, and I was like, "What is this? This is meant to be Old Trafford." And it's like
Mm.
leaking from the stands into the roofs into the to stands where the seats are. Um,
Wow.
our training facility, which was once world renowned,
Mm,
is now fallen behind, and the stadium, like they sometimes give it a lick of red paint just to make it a little bit more bright. But when you look, I think it was the end of last season or June last
mm.
season, seats in part of the stadium didn't even look red. And I know that seems like minor, but it's Man United, man. When you see
I
the
know,
seats looking a
yeah.
bit like a dark orange color, it's like
Mm.
Like, are we some like little
Some little
amateur
club
club?
now. Little club now.
um, so like what they've done since the start, I mean, we'll go into more details of the Glazers later because
Mm,
it's just too much to go through. But in terms of the offer, yeah, 25% of United for 1.3 billion.
mm,
There's definitely going to be some positives to it, and I think from Sir Jim's point of view, him being, uh, I think he was born within 10 miles of Old Trafford. He's a
mm,
United fan. He loves the club, so that's obviously is a definitely positive. Someone who's,
mm,
if you ask most owners, even if it's only 25%, if you ask
mm,
most fans, what owners do you want? You want someone who's got a load of money
mm.
and someone who loves the club, and like he
Just,
does kind of
just,
tick.
just a quick one on that. I heard. I don't know if it's true, but I heard he's a Chelsea season ticket holder. Someone said.
Yeah, and he did try to buy Chelsea, didn't he?
Yeah. So I
But
don't
he was
know.
born. Yeah, it's one of them ones like I don't think you can trust them what they're saying. These owners, it's like when the government speak. You take everything
Yeah.
they say with a pinch of salt, like people in
Mm,
positions of power. But he's
mm,
definitely got a love towards United. He was
mm.
born. His family support United because all I guess from Manchester or Greater Manchester.
Yeah.
So I think that's there. But yeah, you're right. I've heard that as well. And he did try
Mm,
to buy Chelsea, and obviously failed
mm.
to the Bowley, the American
Yeah.
dude, whatever his name
Yeah.
is, Bowley.
Mm,
But ultimately, yeah, 25% is underwhelming because it's a low percentage. I mean, the Glazers don't own 100% of United anyway. They own, I
mm,
think, around 67% of the club. So it's not like they own 100%, but still,
mm,
it's a minority stake, as you said. So
mm,
it doesn't sound too promising. But then words have come out since the bid has gone through that even though it's only 25%, it will
mm,
grow. And hopefully in the coming years, I don't know, that could be 3 years, it could be 10 years, the
mm,
Glazers will own less and less. And even with just 25% of
mm,
the company, apparently they're going to be in charge of sporting decisions, which hopefully is a good thing
mm.
because, well, it is a good thing because it means the Glazers won't be in charge of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
it's a bit confusing. It's like, okay, they've got only a quarter, but then they've got the power to make all the sporting decisions as well. They're talking about revamping Old Trafford as well. It's like
Mm,
everything sounds good, but what I will say is apart from top reds, which are certain United fans who I've got respect for because like they're
sounds like a
United.
Pro Evo name. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Sounds.
yeah. Top Reds 1-0, but no, they're usually like United fans that go on Twitter that actually have season tickets. Usually they're Manx as well, and from what I could tell, that they were very pro Sir Jim, or not necessarily very pro, but just pro Sir Jim over Sheikh Jassim. They didn't want a
Okay. Yeah.
state to own Qatar.
Mm,
I mean, I wanted Qatar. I wanted
mm,
100%. 5 billion was more than enough, plus
mm,
1 billion to go into revamping the stadium and the
mm,
training facilities, clearing our debt as
mm.
well, which is like 600 plus million as well.
Madness.
There's rumours that apparently we own 300 million in transfer fees as well. So, you could potentially put that up to nearly a billion.
Billion. Yeah.
So, like, I wanted Qatar. I wanted Qatar. And
Mm,
a lot of people were bringing in their kind of views on certain political things,
mm,
which I don't like to go into detail for.
mm.
Like football's football at the end of the day. You've got, you look at Newcastle's owners and City's owners, like they have similar views to what probably our owners would have had in terms of religion. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but I think it's the same religion, but I could be wrong.
Mm,
But I wanted Qatar
mm,
and a lot of top reds didn't. And they're going to probably laugh at me saying this if any of them watch this anyway, because oh,
mm,
well, who's this Cockney red from London? But I've supported United for a long time. I'm 38
mm,
years old. I've supported
mm,
them since the late 80s into the early
mm,
90s. So I have a decent knowledge of United and the history of owners that we've had. And
mm,
I feel like just to be politically correct, a lot of them
mm,
wanted Sir Jim in.
mm,
Now it's happening. It's happened. I'm trying to look at the positives to Sir Jim. Okay, it's only 25%, but okay, they're going to take over the sporting side of stuff, and
mm.
yeah. So I'm skeptical, let's say, but
Mm.
I've got some hope in me that it's going to improve under what's been horrendous under the Glazers.
Yeah, no, listen, it's good for you to break it down. As I said, I'm an Arsenal fan. I just hear from the outside what's going on, but I'm intrigued. So I thought, let me hear from a United fan. Like I said, from what I've heard, I think a lot of United fans look at what he's done with Nice over the last couple of years, and they're a bit like, has he really done much there?
Since he's taken
And
over, like you said, just to add to what you're saying, sorry to
yeah,
interrupt, is since he's taken over, their
mm,
average league position, I've written that down actually here,
mm,
the average league position here is slightly under what their average position was before they took over.
mm,
I think they were doing slightly better before Ineos came in, but
mm,
I mean, maybe I could be proved wrong, but that's what I saw online on Twitter. Sometimes some stuff can be lies. But I think,
Mm.
I think it is the case that they've not performed as well as before in years takeover. I mean,
Yeah.
so what kind of positive spin can you put on that to them buying United? Like they're going to improve us. I mean, maybe they will, but
I think,
yeah,
do you
so
know what? I think, do you know the problem is we don't want to, like, I was watching something yesterday. You don't need state owners to have a fantastic club. Look at Real Madrid, you look at Arsenal, I say fantastic, doing all right. Arsenal, Liverpool, American owners. You can do it as long as there's structure at your football club. You just need owners that are connecting with not just the management, the fans. You know, we can go back quickly to Arsenal, right? Where Kroenke came first come in. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? I wanted Usmanov. Usmanov then won over to Everton. Everton didn't do the best with him and Moshiri in charge. And it's like, wow, we could have maybe gone that same way. You never know. So sometimes, you know, it's it all depends on what the owners have planned. So Jim might have a great plan for you lot, but he
I think
hasn't really.
He will.
Yeah,
He's got to.
like
He's got to.
being a Manc, or as you said, born in Manchester, whatever, and family, you might look and go, I'm going to bring this club back to where they should be. Because I think a lot of time we live in this football manager world. I want Qataris, man. I want to buy Mbappe. I want to buy. Don't happen like that. You know what I mean? That sometimes you get a
It
proper
doesn't.
owner. All right, cool. We need a solid defense. Let's go get a big centre back. Do it this way, and it might work out. You know,
Kind of Newcastle way, innit? They've not. I know they've spent a lot of
Yeah.
money since they've come in, but they've not been stupid about it. They've kind of
Yeah.
done it a little bit under the radar and bought kind of solid players as well as like big names as well. So they've
That's
done
it.
it,
Yeah.
in a good
The
way.
main thing for you lot is to start off with is everything around training ground, stadium, stuff like that. I remember I went to the stadium, might have been about 15 years ago now, 15, 16 years ago. And then I remember going in, even an Arsenal fan thinking, "Damn, this place, like with the theatre of the dreams, you go in, you're like, this place is mad. And obviously seeing the videos and that now, obviously I'm like, that's a bit mad, like big club like that going down here in terms of, look at training ground. Ronaldo was talking about it. Lingard spoke about it. I think even recently, was it Charlie Savage? Robbie Savage's son was like Reading's training grounds on a par with Man United. I was literally like, that is just like, how can there was never the case before, innit?
Yeah, never the case. I mean, I remember when Ronaldo came out kind of towards the end of his second stint with United, and obviously he had that interview with Piers Morgan, and he said like, the Glazers don't really care about the fans, like they don't. They just want to make money. And I get, look, with any big business, money is a priority. But obviously, you want to keep people happy, you want to keep fans happy, you want to keep staff happy. You want to compete. But ultimately, you need to make money. I get that as well. And that's not always the case in football. I think a lot of owners that come into the clubs and buy clubs, they should know that they're not always going to make money. It's got to be more of a hobby and a passion than just like thinking, I've got to make this amount of money in this amount of years. Because football is different. But yeah, when Ronaldo came out in the interview, Ronaldo got so much stick, like from a lot of top Reds and other United fans and other news outlets saying, oh, how can he say this? And he's no longer a legend of your club. And I'm just standing there and I'm thinking, what Ronaldo did was amazing. Like he called out the biggest, but obviously I'm not talking about the debate with who's better with Messi, but like in terms of like Ronaldo, he's one of, if not the biggest people on the planet, not just sporting people. Like he's got an unlimited amount of followers and money, and he's still scoring goals. And he came out and he went against the Glazers and said they didn't care about the club. I mean, that was such a big thing. And I think a lot of fans just kind of downplayed it. Like it was like, oh, Ronaldo's disrespecting the club, he's disrespecting Ten Hag and etc. But I was like, this is what we needed. We needed them to be exposed. And who would you want them to expose them? Okay, past staff members, maybe managers, Ferguson, but they're not going to do that. Ferguson's an old man now. He could do it, but I just know he isn't. Yeah. So like, who else would you think? Okay, big players, Giggs, Scholes, Ronaldo, Schmeichel. Okay, okay. Ronaldo's just outspoken. That's the next best thing. It's like, so when that happened, I was fully baffled, and I have friends who are United fans as well, season ticket holders, and they didn't kind of see my point of view. They were like, "Yeah, it's good that he said something, but I feel like he's doing it for his own good." And I was like, I don't care. Whatever the reason he's doing it, he's doing it. He's exposing the Glazers, and you know what? For the first time in a while, they did get a little bit of pressure on them, like as in like these owners are not good enough for Man United, and you hear the common argument, and I've said this to you a million times on this show and at work as well. It's like, oh, but United have spent this much money. but you have spent this. You know that you've spent 1 billion since this date and 500,000 since that date, and last transfer window you spent 200 million. It's like, yeah, but what United fan is complaining about what money we've spent? And is it their money? No, none of it's their money. The money's been, from the fans that have come into the club from, shirt sales, season ticket holders, sponsorships, etc. It's like United have spent their own money, and because the Glazers, when they originally took over the United, they took it. Was it 600? Was it 600 million? I've got it here. Yes, now 800 million was borrowed by the Glazers to buy United in 2005. 800 million pounds. And since then, they've used the fees and interest fees, dividends. They've taken out of United to pay for it, and it's in the tune of nearly kind of £2 billion. So I think it's between 1.5 and 2 billion, that kind of region. That money has been taken out of the club to kind of pay for fees, interest fees, and loan fees that have been put onto the club. And just to put it in perspective, if any other owner now wanted to take over a football club the way that they did in 2005, it wouldn't be accepted; it'd be rejected. It's not allowed anymore.
So mad.
And it's just like that debt was not on United. I don't know. We might have been. I don't know if we were in debt before that. I don't think we were in debt before the Glazers took over. And if it was maybe a minimal amount. But we had no debt, and the money that was coming out the club was going into the club, whether it be the stadium, the facilities. Back then was obviously, we had great facilities in the stadium. We was buying the best players. We were spending the most money. Like Rio Ferdinand, 30 million was a lot of money. And Berbatov, was a lot of money. So we were spending the most money, but that money was coming from the club. It was, if financial fair play was back then, we wouldn't have failed it because, this is the kind of money that United make.
Yeah, 100%.
But then over the last, 18 years since 2005, the Glazers have slowly crippled the club. They've, when someone has small changes over a period of time, and it doesn't seem like much, but over time it gets better and it gets worse and worse. Or it gets bigger. Or it gets better. If you're losing weight and you lose like a pound here and a pound there, it doesn't seem like much, but over oh my God, I've lost all this weight. Or, it's just like, over the time, they've just taken more and more at the club, a little bit here and here, a little bit there. Let's not worry about the stadium for a couple of years. Let's not worry about the training facilities for a few years. And it's like, okay, that's nothing for them. Over the next couple of years, you're not really going to notice that. But then when 5, 10, 15 years go past, you look at it, you're like, well, look at Tottenham. Look what Tottenham doing. Look at, Reading are now apparently on par, as you just said, with Charlie Savage. And when you hear these stories, like it's Manchester United. This isn't like, this is a humongous mammoth club. Like this is, but on there with kind of like, Arsenal as well, Liverpool, but I'd say bigger, definitely bigger. I'm sorry to say, but it's definitely bigger. You're up there with kind of Barcelona and Real Madrid, that kind of level of club, top 3 football clubs or sports clubs in the world. I think like the Dallas Cowboys, so they're like
New Yankees, them lot.
But United are there. The United are there. There's no doubt about it. And if you look about the lack of trophies we've won over the last, since Ferguson retired, what Ferguson did was a miracle. But we all know that we've won the odd FA Cup, the odd Europa League, the odd League Cup, and we've gone every other year. It seems like we're in the Champions League, and then we're not. That's not acceptable. And then fans can say, okay, but you've spent this money, but it's not being managed properly. The directors of footballs we've had have been useless. The owners always have the last say. It's just been a mess for so long, and now it's added up. These little changes have added up to a point now where we've become a joke. We don't really ever fight for the league anymore. It's an achievement if we get top 4, which is not acceptable as United fan. It's not. I know there's periods where teams dominate, but this is United. They're still getting the money in that they should. They're still getting record sponsorship deals from Adidas, and they're still getting those money in. It's still a huge club, and we're in the Champions League currently. But it's just not been good enough. And we've just been neglected for so many years now. So going back to kind of Sir Jim, I've got to have some kind of positivity, even though I wanted Jim in because he was the dream. He was, I'm going to clear the debt. I'm going to improve the stadium. I'm going to improve the facilities.
Like start fresh, innit?
Yeah.
Like
and that's what we needed. Exactly. If he just clears the debt and, then let United's money do the talking, the money that we take in. But that's not the case. The Glazers obviously see Sir Jim's offer as ideal because they become a majority. They're still majorities. I don't know, 67. They're taking away 25%. I don't know. They might have a similar kind of holding to kind of Sir Jim and the Glazers. I don't know who's going to be the ultimate majority, but there's a lot of other shareholders involved. but they're still there. I don't want them there. United fans don't want them there. They've ruined this club over the years, and we all, not we all, but some of us wanted a fresh start, and that fresh start was being state owned. And I don't, they talk about human rights and stuff, and yeah, okay, whatever, I get that, but this is football, and there's a lot of clubs that are owned by similar kind of owners, and it works. It can work. I mean, and PSG, I know they've not won Champions League titles, but they're still winning everything pretty much most years. You've got City, obviously they've dominated football. Newcastle have started amazingly with their new owners.
Yeah, they're getting there now. They're warming up.
But I think it would have been scary because if you put United, a different kind of beast without no debt, with those kind of owners, that's a different kind of beast. That is a genuine kind of beast where it's like, okay, this is Man United now. Like they can spend 250 million a summer and not have to worry about financial fair play because they've got no debt. The stadium's back up. The training facilities are back up, and it would have been a different kind of beast. But yeah, I'm gonna, it's not going to happen. Sheikh Jassim is not going to come. So yeah, we just got to deal with Sir Jim. And the good thing from his point of view is he's got so much negativity towards him from a lot of United fans that he's starting from the bottom. He's like, well, no one thinks I'm going to be a good owner. Let me show them I'm going to be a good owner. And I want him to show me. I want to, like 6 months from now, me say, oh, yeah, Sir Jim's been incredible for United. Oh, wow. I know it's only 25%, but it's going to be 50% soon, and 75 and then 100%. And he's improved this already. And this has, been improved. So I hope, not that I'm not fully against him. So I'm not saying he's going to prove me wrong, but I'm skeptical. So I want him to show me and other United fans that he will bring United back and improve standards across the board, because for the last 18 years it has been dog water.
I don't mind it. Long may it continue. As an Arsenal fan, I don't mind it.
But it's true though. Like United with no debt is a different beast.
I won't lie. When I heard the Qatari rumours, I was like, I don't know if in our WhatsApp group, and I was trying to tell that other United fan, calm down, relax. We know who we're talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And this one was like, I feel Qatari. We're going to sign Mbappe, this, that. I said, real chill. And I'm not going to lie, I was one of them fans when I was like, if they get that, suddenly you're looking like, they won't go and get Mbappe's, but the background scene, you're sorted. Then suddenly you get onto the pitch where it's like, all right, cool. Now who are we going to sign? How are we going to go from where we are now to that level? But now you're looking at, you lot could, honestly, in the next couple of years, you can fall further behind because obviously Arsenal again doing their thing. Liverpool, it depends. John Henry still comes forward, sorted them out of a new midfield, everything. City will go up again with the owners. Newcastle going up. Villa got owners now that are willing to back them. West Ham. And you know what? I think for you United fans, Tottenham as well, I forgot. But Jassim could look and go, do you know what? United didn't want me. All right, cool.
I was thinking about this.
What other teams in the league could I go for? And you look at it, if they kind of listen, Spurs would be kind of pricey. West Ham, bro,
London club.
Because I think West Ham are renting that stadium. I think still.
Yeah.
So these lot could go in, but do you know what? I want this. Buy that. And as a United fan, how would you feel seeing that? Would you be like, oh my gosh, like that could have been?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this last night, and I was talking to a couple of mates about this. Like, you just know it's written in the stars, isn't it? Like, it's like, F this. I'm going to go buy like your West Ham or your Tottenhams and I'm going to put my money into them. And you just know over the next 2 to 3 years, it's they'll become, they just go to another level. And then if United is still struggling at that point and you see the owner that you could have had, like, the game shows, it's like, this is what you could have won. Do you know when you've lost something? It's like, you just stand there and you're just like gutted. I'm genuinely scared about that. I'm actually scared that this is going to backfire and they're going to take over another Premier League club, and then that Premier League club is going to have the mighty backing of Qatar behind them, unlimited funds, and they're just going to sail past us and make us regret saying no. But hopefully that doesn't happen. And I've got to put my trust in Sir Jim, and I just hope that he, he's a United fan. He was born in Manchester. He's putting, he put in 1.3 billion in 25%. That's so much money just for a quarter of the club. It just shows how big United are. 1.3 billion pounds, 25%.
That's crazy.
Like, that's mental. So that's why their bid was seen as better, because they put 5 billion for 100%. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6.
Four, three,
Yeah. So
four.
if you go to 100%, that ends up being just over £5 billion. So
Mm.
technically, Sir Jim's offer was more
But
than
saying
Sheikh
that, if
Yazid's.
you but saying that if you do buy four, 25 by four, that would have been five point something in it. I think
5.2.
5.2. And I think Jassim offered, was it six you said? But that was
It was
like one
5.
bill. Five.
No, he
Yeah.
committed 1 billion to
To the
clearing debt
everything
and
else.
stuff. In terms of the Glazers, they were going to get
Mm.
5 billion.
So
So
they've probably
that's
looked at it
why.
and gone, I want a minority in it. Yeah, rather
Yeah.
than, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And the Glazers, inside the Glazers, there are like there's been said that in the next 5 to 10 years, like they think that United could be a total worth up to 6 to 10 billion. So like, and they're thinking they can get even more money in 4 or 5 years' time. They're just so greedy. It pisses me off, man. It's like they didn't use any of their own money to buy the club. They've just leached out this club to pay for their debts and fees. They've ruined. They've genuinely ruined the club. Like they've ruined the club. It's embarrassing to say, but like the
It's a
hatred for
business
the
now, isn't
Glazers
it?
is.
It's a business now. You
It's a
lot are no
business,
longer a
yeah.
football club, and that's the thing with a lot of the owners. But I was listening to something this morning. I think that there's something coming in the next few years because I think they're talking about that 3 o'clock kickoff thing, showing all the 3 o'clock kickoffs. So I think
Yeah,
a lot of these owners are looking, going, I ain't selling now. What? Like when in
there's
three,
money to
four
be
years
made.
time, I can. So I get that side of things, but if you really care about the club and you know for the next 3, 4 years you can't offer what that club need, you need to move on. Like allow it, or even say, do you know what, Sheikh Jassim, I'll sell the club, but a certain percentage. I still want a bit, and you can do this and that, but I still want to have a bit. You know, just yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Listen, as much as I laugh about Man United, we always diss each other, but it's sad to see where you once were, you know, that feared club under Fergie and whatever, and everyone used to go to Old Trafford. I used to watch and go, is anyone ever going to beat these lot? Like you lot were just that club, everything. You look in the rankings, Man United, Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees, Real Madrid. I was like, Arsenal being little 11th and 12th and that, you know what I mean? I'll be scrolling down to find us. But yeah, like you lot have become that business. You lot have become like that business now. I just want to touch on Glaze quickly before we wrap up. What was your initial? Obviously, we're talking about them now. What's happened? But how did you feel when it first come forward? So when it was like announced, because were they running? You might know better than me. Were they in charge of Tampa Bay then? And with Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I think this. Yeah. I think so. I think so. But I think back then they did have a minority stake in United, so they were part owners, but they had a minority stake, and then they took over and took the full, the whole control over United. It's funny you ask that question because it's embarrassing to say, but I vividly remember when the takeover happened, and even though I was skeptical of it because we've been putting like 800 million in debt, it was like there was talk of like within the next 5-10 years, I think it was we're going to clear the debt. The debt's going to go down, and that was the talk. So I was like, "Oh, United are huge. We make this." So I remember kind of like protecting them. To be honest, it's bad. Not I don't want to say protecting them, but I was being very positive. I was looking at the positives, and I was just saying to people, "Yeah, we are in debt, and that's not good." But the Glazers are going to clear the debt within 5-6 years or 10 years, and we make this per year. So really, we're not even that much debt compared to what we own, compared to what we get in. So I was actually protective of them. I remember people asking me and me saying our debt will be cleared, the Glazers will clear it. But I've very quickly learned that was not the case. It's not like I was a Glazer supporter up until now. Like I've never been a Glazer supporter. Never have, never will. But yeah, I was very positive about it, and I really thought they were going to clear the debt. But obviously, how wrong was I? Not only have we stayed in debt, there's been times where we've gone over that debt. Like I said, we are up to 300 million in transfer fees as well. Apparently, that was from Mark Goldbridge from the United stand. I know he's got his sources, so I'm sure he's right in that sense. So that's 600 million plus 300. We're $1 billion in debt. We're $1 billion in debt, and
that's scary.
What have we got to show for that? Nothing. We've not won the league for 10 years. We've not won the Champions League since 2008. That's what 16-ish years.
At least you've won it.
Yeah, we've won it a few times, and I've been lucky to be alive to see it happen twice. I get that. You know what? Sometimes, and you know what? I saw something just to kind of pick up on something else. I saw something on Twitter which really peed me off, and there was a lower league fan, and they were like, "How can United complain about their owners when they're a little, smaller clubs that don't really have that much money and not really compete?" And I was like, "Well, if no matter which club you support,
Mm.
say bought for 800 million, and
Mm.
then over the next 18 years, 1.5 to 2.5 to 1.5 to 2 billion is taken out to pay for fees.
Mm.
What would that equivalent be for you? So if your club's worth 1 million,
Mm.
you know, and they're taking 2 to 3, 4 million out over the next 10, 15 years to pay for it, how would you feel? Or pissed off? Well, why is that different for United fans? Why should that be different for United fans? Okay, they've spent money, but that's their own money. Why can't they complain that so much money has been taken out of the club, which doesn't happen at other clubs, to pay for fees and interest fees on a loan that they took out to buy United, which would now not be allowed if someone else tried to buy the club the same way. But you just think, oh, just because United have won some titles and they still spend some money, they should, you know, zip it. And that I just, and you know, I follow a lot of lower league football. I've got a lot of respect for lower league football massively. So I get that, but I can't agree with fans that say things like that. I mean, it's not fair to kind of have a go at a bigger, like Arsenal when they were rioting against Kroenke, you know, a few years ago, whenever that was now. Like, okay, at the time, you know, you're still doing well, you're still getting a lot of money, you're still competing for like top 4 kind of thing, top 6.
Yeah.
You know, doing. What right have you got to complain just because you're an Arsenal fan? You're not allowed to complain. You've had success over the last 20 years.
Yeah, no,
even though, you know, the owners have not been good for you, and although they weren't good for you, I don't know what the situation is with Arsenal. Like, no lower league fan or higher league fan has a right to kind of have a go at the other fan to say when they can't complain about an owner. So that's one thing I don't agree with. But look, I'm going to remain positive. Like, I was looking into it. Apparently Ratcliffe's going to undertake a 100-day review of the club. What's good, what's bad. There's going to be a lot of bad, probably not so much good. Apparently Eric's job is safe. They've got a lot of admiration for Eric, which is good. I mean, when over the last few weeks I was borderline with Eric, like, you know, it was just difficult. I knew he was a good manager, but I thought it was getting too much for him. But you know, luckily that win over Brentford, was it Brentford?
Yeah, Brentford, yeah. Brentford
2-1. Yeah, that was huge. Huge. People don't realise how huge that was for him and for United. But they're going to do a 100 review of the club. Eric's safe. There's rumours of Paul Mitchell coming in as a director of football. So
that's when I'm going to take you lot serious. Good, listen, he's good. There's another guy.
He's at Monaco now, isn't he?
Monaco, I think. Yeah. Or I don't know if he's still there, but definitely was there. And there's another guy you're linked with. But the one that I think he should go for, and it would dig at Liverpool, is it Michael Ward? I think his name is.
Okay.
Is it Ward? I might be wrong.
Knowledge,
but yeah, so the guy, he's the guy that was doing all of Liverpool's older transfers. So he's the one. If you lot went and got him, Liverpool fans will be like, "Oh, maybe." And that's what maybe you need. I think if you start to see them little subtle changes, that's when you start to go, "Do you know what? We're going in the right direction." No fickle fan is going to be like, "We're going to win the league straight away." But you just want to see progression, and that's why. Exactly, and that's why as fans we complain. So when these lower league fans are saying how you can complain, I've been supporting my club since young. I know where we were. I know where I want us to be. We have no reason to be where we are, and that's why the Kroenke arguments come out. That's why the one with you and the Glazers. Just one of them things. We're passionate about our club, and you know, I don't want to see clubs bet like Man City. They're the benchmark at the moment. I don't want to see them going further away than all of us. You know what I mean? So you've got to.
And that's how it's been going for years now. It's like,
you see what I'm saying?
I just want owners that take pride in the club that they own, and the Glazers have not taken pride in that. Has been proven over the years with what they've done to the stadium, the facilities, how they've spent the money. Yes, we've spent it, but they've spent it poorly.
Yeah,
like and you know what? I do believe Sir Jim will not go down that road. He won't. He can't.
Yeah,
he's a local boy. He supports United. He's put in a lot of money for a little bit of percentage. So that's from his point of view, he's done a lot there as well. It's like to own only 25% for 1.3 billion. But I hope it's true that over the years that 25% grows, and then the Glazers percentage goes down, and then hopefully there'll be a time where Sir Jim at least takes over the Glazers in terms of what he owns, and then we could look back and be like, okay, well, we're a better United now. I mean, it's not as easier said than done. Obviously, there's a lot of things to improve. But if they just say, look, we're going to start with the facilities, we're going to start with the stadium, getting rid of the leaks, filling in the leaks, making the training facilities a bit more modern.
You need to give it both leaks. You need to give it the stadium leaks and the team leak up, because you know you lot got that one releasing the team years as well.
That person's making money though, isn't it? Like the leaks, because United are so big, it's like, you know, they're making some P, but yeah, it's just, and then if they said that, and then they said, okay, well, we've got a 10, 20, 30-year plan where we're going to make the debt go from this to this to this to this, and they just clear and transparent with the fans, they'll get the support. Because United fans are very patient. Like when I mean United fans, I mean match going Reds, Manchester, English fans, not just English fans, but just more match going fans. They are patient because look how shit we're doing in the league, and when Ten Hag is going off, a lot of the United fans are still clapping him because they're behind him and they love him. And even though sometimes I'm like, why are you clapping the team? They're bloody shit. You should be booing them. And to be fair, there have been a lot more boos recently, a lot more boos, but there's still a core United fans that are patient. And I do love that about my club. And they did want Sir Jim over Sheikh Jim, and hopefully they are proved right. Because I want United to compete, and I want United to lower their debts and to improve their facilities and be back at the top, because it's United, man. They should be at the top.
No, you're right. I do agree. And you know what's funny? When you were talking about the state of our training facilities, all that. I remember a couple of years ago I went to Man City, and I was on the other side of Manchester, and I went to the training ground, bruv. It's mad. Like literally, you're driving up there, and I'm like, this complex is incredible. Like I'm in there just walking around thinking, no wonder these lot are literally a step ahead. And I don't know if it's true, but when we're walking around, they had like a few training pitches, and someone said to me that one of them, they've got this thing where the pitch does the dimensions. It changes the dimensions depending on who they're playing next. I said, what? I said, no wonder when they go to other stadiums, they're popping you off the pitch because they're already prepared for it in advance. So I was like, yeah, these lot are just a step ahead. And the way they did it was amazing. And I feel like, United need to be careful because you could get left behind, not just by them, but soon to be Newcastle as well. And
we've been left behind. That has happened. We have been left behind. Now it's up to Sir Jim, to, even though only with his 25%, to take action to lessen that gap over the next years or so. Now is the time. The time. I'm just glad that something's gone through, even though I did want Sheikh. But at least something's gone through and something needs to change now, because as you said, that gap will only get larger, and that's just not acceptable at Man United. It's just not acceptable.
Last thing before we go, I just want to say, so, you were talking about, it's been poor by your standards, haven't really won much, whatever. So what's your expectations? We'll be talking again for the season anyway, but what's your expectations for the rest of the season? What would be a good season for you? If I said to you now, say it now, how you want it to end, realistic as well, how do you want it to finish?
We have to get top four. I mean, it doesn't look too, I don't know, because we've had 4 wins, 4 draws. 4 wins, 4 losses in the league. It doesn't look great, but top four, it has to be top four. And it's a realistic thing because we only just started the season 8 games, 9 games in. Top four has to be the case, because I know I'll deal with Adidas. We get the maximum amount from them if we make the Champions League. And if we don't, I don't know how much it goes down by, but it does go down. The money they give to United every season for the shirt sponsor goes down if we don't make the Champions League. So we have to get the Champions League. And, an FA Cup, League Cup, we're not going to win the Champions League, obviously. We've lost our first 2 games, so we're probably not even going to qualify for that. But, so you've got to kind of hopefully get a cup in there. But... Again, to be realistic, if we just got 4th place and nothing else, I'd be content with that, because at least that would guarantee the maximum amount of income next season from our sponsors. And just the TV rights of the Champions League is so huge compared to the Europa League or the Conference Europa League. So, I'm going to keep it simple, man. Just top 4. We have to get it. We can't not get it. It's too much.
Top 5 of the Champions League now, I think, I think it's going to change next season, because I think something with the coefficient. So they're saying it's
next season.
Like next season, they're saying, as in like this season, we'll finish the top 5, we'll get Champions League for next season. Supposedly.
If that's the case, then that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
Suddenly you
top
change
5
the
then
tune,
yeah, it's just embarrassing, because I feel like as a United fan, I should be saying that. I should be like 1st place or nothing, and that's how it should be, and that's how.
Remember them days when Arsene Wenger used to tell people top 4
is.
Do you remember? And people used to laugh.
I'm not saying money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the money, and he used to get there with like the most average teams, and he said the best importance of it. But listen, it is what
top 4.
Top 4.
Where do you think United are going to finish this season then?
Oh, I'm very worried for you lot. I really think you're going to struggle to finish 5th, And the reason why I say that is because, every other team, they've got a bit of youth going on in their midfield, the exuberance on that. You've got a lot of players that are on that wrong side now. Like Casemiro last season, I thought was amazing. This season, I'm looking at him like, you don't look as fit as you were. Your passing's bad. Like, you're losing your head. I don't know what's going on. And
a lot of the team look that way, though, to be honest.
Yeah, you need to buckle up, because, as I said, there's a lot of teams around. Villa doing well, Newcastle, Brighton, Tottenham. You know what I mean? And you've already lost 4. That's in 8 games. That is just It's mad, bro.
Yeah, it's
Last
terrible.
season, you wasn't losing to your home record saved you last season, and this season you're losing at home. You know, you're losing to smaller teams. Well, listen, you got Sheffield United next. You see that game there,
Must
yeah,
win already.
bro. Not
I
even,
think we're comfortably going to beat them as well. I think that would be a comfortable win.
is it away
You know,
as well? It's away.
famous, yeah, yeah, but that's fine.
Oh,
Famous
Nick,
last words, but I
Nick.
think we'll win
Go,
3-0. 3-0. I think we'll win that 3-0.
Everyone heard that, yeah. So you lot that
Yeah.
watch this comeback thing, I'm gonna put his at and everything, his Twitter, his Insta, let you lot know where he's
We've got
at
to win,
after.
and I do think we're going to be comfortable winners. But we'll see. If
Yeah.
not, then it's just more misery piled on Eric and the Glazers. But yeah. So you did say, what do you think? 5th, 6th, 4th?
I would say, yeah. If it's a top, you lot somehow always make it into the Champions League, you know. So I'd say, yeah, 5th. I would say, because I just think there are other.
If 5th is Champions League, then that would be.
Right,
It's embarrassing to say that we need 5th place to get Champions League, but I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then next season, move on and go to other heights, and compete.
Top 3 in it and stuff.
Got to be realistic. New owner. Hopefully, that
Mm.
owner gets more percentage over the next few years.
Mm.
We become a point where next 3 years we can actually compete. I'll take that. I'll definitely take that.
No. Listen, I hear that. Listen, you'll be right in the end. We'll see. Let's see what Jim does. You know, Sheikh Jassim, will he go West Ham? So many questions to be answered. But
Make us eat our words. What? She's going to do it. It's going to make us regret
it. But listen, Nick, big up for coming on. Listen, you've opened my eyes to a lot, because I ain't got time to go through them stats on Twitter and whatnot. Let me go to a real Man United fan, find out firsthand.
I appreciate it. There's people out there that know them more than me, but yeah, that's like the basics of it. And it's
that's what we need, though. All us non-United fans, this is what we need. But listen, thanks for coming on. I'm sure you're going to be on soon. Listen, let people know where they can find you, man. Let them know about your Facebook as well. You know, let them know.
Yeah. I've got a Facebook page called the Cop versus the Stretford and Banter page. It's just usually United and Liverpool fans that just kind of lay into each other. But other fans are there: Arsenal, Chelsea, Everton. So yeah, just Facebook. I think nearly 30,000 followers. So doing all right. But yeah, if you want to come over and say hello, the Cop versus the Stretford and Banter page on Facebook. Cheers, mate.
That's where to find them people. Me, Back in the Net podcast, TikTok, Insta,
subscribe.
Follow.
Matt is going places.
Yeah. Listen,
Matt is going places.
I believe him. In a few years' time, I'll be like, I told you to follow. You didn't listen. But listen, it is what it is. But listen, thanks again, Nick. I'm sure we'll catch up soon. Mate. Those who are watching, hope you loved it. Tune in, let your people know, share, follow, subscribe, all of that.
Do it.
I'm out. Peace.